There we go. The obligatory 5 seconds here. Welcome, folks. This is the, for lack of a better name, Battlefront Livestream podcast. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler of Star Wars Beyond the Films and the Star Wars Report's Rebels Roundtable, both at StarWarsReport.com and the Star Wars Timeline Gold at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline, and so on and so on and so on and so on, as people would say. Joining me this time as part of this live stream podcast to discuss whatever comes up in the chat that I could share or just discuss the game in general is Mr. Jeff Kenda. Hey, Jeff.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Glad I could have you on. Every time I hear that, I think Kenda, Jeff. Why does that sound familiar? I realize it's the Joe Kenda in my head from back when I used to watch Investigation Discovery non-stop. Like, I marathon the sci-fi shows, she would marathon Investigation Discovery constantly.
Cool. Yeah, it's one of the very few Kendas I've ever seen anywhere else, so that's it's
all right, I am going to shoot you over a partner request here. Make sure it was turned on correctly.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see, and it's so nice that it says it. Now, you pre-ordered, correct?
I did pre-order, yes.
Okay, so Battle of Jakku active is good?
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, Mark was on the last one, and we weren't going through the map rotation with Battle of Jakku because he is not a pre-order person. I guess we'll jump into the one that I believe you said as your favorite before, Fighter Squadron, yes?
Oh yeah, Fighter Squadron is absolutely great. Mainly because I'm kind of good at it.
Oh, there you go.
Now watch me completely tank at it, so.
Completely bomb. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way that it works. Especially, I found that when it comes to any type of gaming, it's a question of whether my wife is watching. If she's watching, I suck. When she's not there, I'm on Destiny with Iron Banner and just like, bam, #1 kills and all that kind of stuff. But no, as soon as she starts watching, it's like, wah, 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 wah. Which I guess is sort of a pride thing.
As soon as I start trash talking is when I tank. As soon as I say I do really well at this, or I start trash talking people, is the second that I have like a 3-36 game.
Oh, I see. So Fighter Squadron, it makes sense because nobody can teabag you when you're flying in a starfighter. Or stand over, do like I do, stand over you and do the
some way to shame people.
Thing. Yep. Oh, there we go. Slow connection to server may affect your gameplay. I'm still getting the notification, even though I am testing out a wired connection this time, folks. So if it stutters, my bad. All right, jumping here. I was about to say, what kind of loadout do I want? Oh, yeah. Starfighters.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not even sure why that screen exists when you're doing this mode.
Too. I am kind of hoping that they actually introduce some more fighters eventually, though. But
yes, there we go. So the Imperial side, and
really
yet
from that screen.
I'm already feeling the stuttering. The ship is like repeatedly. Oh my goodness. There we go. There, now it's starting to catch up. I was wondering if I was going to have to restart the stream on medium. For those who watched the last one was on medium regular medium. This is on medium HD, in hopes that a wired connection will help. And so far, the answer is not so much, but we'll see. All right. Now, Jeff, I have quoted you a few times. You were one of the folks that I was really kind of intensively talking about the beta with back when that was going on. And your thoughts had been one of the more negative reviews, I would say, with the line that I quoted a few times being that it was what just happened? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have to press the button to turn into Slave 1. I was like, oh, shit. Hello, Lego. You had said essentially that it was the best-looking, laziest game in years, and I have an interesting. Once I die, I can read an interesting quote from another person from the fan audio community who compared it to Obamacare, which is an interesting comparison. But I'm curious, now that the full game is out, I mean, we had a limited number of modes, we had a limited number of really not just modes, but maps to choose from when it came to the previous one. And certainly there was with the beta, there was no customization really. Have you felt as though your opinion has changed at all now that the full game is out, or does it still meet that sort of beautiful yet lazy description?
I would say yes, but I'm having more fun with it than I thought I would.
So fits the description, but fun.
Yeah, it's still really, really lazy. I mean, like they put almost no work into this, and I not including a campaign in it too. Like that to me, and even I've seen Mark talking about this as well. It's frustrating for people, like, if you want to just relax a little bit and have some fun and enjoy playing some Star Wars without getting your ass handed to you every 5 seconds. There's no real escape for you to go do that in this game. Like, it's have your ass handed to you, or and I guess I haven't played a lot of the co-op stuff, so
I wonder to an extent whether or not that's something that is shared by most, because I wonder if this game can really have the ace players who almost never die, because it seems as though dying on this game is pretty much preordained, and you're going to die, and most of the time it'll be from most of the way across the map. So yeah. I'm wondering is it that it's so, I guess, casual or whatever you want to call it, that it's not going to provide that experience for anyone? Or is it something where you really feel like there is enough of a skill difference between the really good players and the really poor players, poor being like me, needing to be told to return to combat, that there is enough of a difference that you can really say, I'm going to get my butt handed to me constantly, and other players might actually be saying, no, that's not happening to me.
Well, I think that is a part of the laziness, is that
I think I just took out the Millennium Falcon. Yes, I took out the Millennium Falcon by crashing into him. I almost wanted to say something akin to "God is great" in another language, but I would have gotten crapped on for it. So I'm going to keep my suicide attacks to non-denominational suicide attacks.
I feel like a lot of the weapons that, as you mentioned, getting shot from across the board, it's really easy to do. I mean, there are 2 sniper weapons in this game, and there's a
but there's every sniper weapon in this game.
I'm not right. Well, yeah, every weapon can shoot across the board.
So it's not so much that there's
specifically zoom in, and there's the and I don't remember what it's called. It's like a tracking weapon. It basically locks on, and it's a no miss weapon unless you're in like Endor or something with a lot of debris in the way.
Right. Yeah, it's the they're specialized sniper weapons as opposed to everything else being mostly sniper. I guess there's at least a couple weapons that don't count as sniper, but pretty close. Wow. And my ship just keeps going ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching as it's trying to load. I haven't had that issue once I'm in the match, but loading into the match is when I'm getting that notification quite a bit, and the stutter quite a bit, which stinks. I really kind of hope that the wired connection was going to be what did it, but I guess I'll be going with medium non-HD in the future because the stuttering drives me insane. There we go. So, Fighter Squadron. This is one that, I find it's pretty fun, but it gets to a point where I sort of feel like it's monotonous, if only because, barring getting that power-up like I did to become Slave 1, which was shocking to me, you really only have 2 vehicles to choose from on either side. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not they should perhaps start including Clone Wars era ships in here. If it came down to it, what do you think? Should we be adding Clone Wars era stuff into this first, or would you say more original trilogy era stuff first? Do you have a preference either way?
I would definitely go with more original trilogy era stuff first, just because, and it's just a preference of mine. I'm not. I'm sure anybody who has recognized my name knows I'm somewhat vocal about how I feel about the prequel era.
That's true. That is true.
But I also think that they're just better looking fighters in general. Like I really like the B-wing, the Y-wing. I would even add in like the E-wing and some other random EU stuff before I would like to see Clone Wars era stuff.
Nice. I know there would be some people out there saying, you can't use the E-wing, that's not canon. Well, neither is this, technically. The games are checked for authenticity, right. So this plays by the same rules as, say, the X-Wing miniatures game. You could very easily toss in an E-wing, or toss in, the Virago from Shadows of the Empire or something if you wanted to.
Right.
Okay. Anyway,
I do agree with you that this mode, I have fun with it, and it's great when I'm playing with a bunch of friends. But if I jump on and I'm playing this game alone and nobody else is on, every mode in this game gets really boring really quickly.
That's true. It does have a tendency to be a little bit well, that's where I think that the hero modes for me come in, because the hero modes, they feel like there's variety because you're often spawning as the different heroic characters. I'm going to read you this here now that I've got a second while the opening screen is coming up and telling me, shoot the ships, basically. The quote about the game that compared it to Obamacare, essentially, says, so basically from all the information I've gleaned, and this is from someone who hadn't played at the time, had not played the beta, had not played the main game, Star Wars Battlefront is comparable to the Affordable Care Act in that, in theory, it's good. But in practice, it was rushed and people are paying through the nose to get something that's half complete and satisfies only half their actual needs. Plus, you have a sharp division between A, people who are singing its praises just because the fact that it has the name Star Wars or Obama slapped on it means it's automatically the best thing since sliced bread, and B, people who know they've just paid themselves right into a huge mistake but find they can't truly speak ill of it openly because their voices will be drowned out by the loud chorus of hallelujahs by the shippers who will also label them as haters or something like that. That's a pretty harsh assessment. I'm curious, do you feel as though, I mean, it's one of the lines there that struck me was the idea that someone's paid themselves into a mistake. Would you argue at this point that picking this up at full price is a mistake, or are you getting enough enjoyment out of it that even with the complaints, even with the concerns about the game, that it's been worth the cash investment so far?
I think it's been worth it so far. Just basically based on the amount of time put in and I had a good time for the most part every time I played it. I don't regret it, but I can completely see that as a valid argument from anybody who would say, I mean, people who don't really play these a lot. Like, I've played a lot of Call of Duties and, Destiny and a bunch of other games through the years. So I'm still kind of used to this, and I know how, losing is in these constantly. It still frustrates me. But when you play with a bunch of friends, you're still having fun for the most part. But I can see how somebody who isn't really that good at these kind of games might feel that way, very much so.
Now, you mentioned Destiny. I've made that comparison a few times. And one thing that I noticed, and we talked about this, of course, off the air when we were talking about just the game during the beta, was there's a lot of things about this game, like the jumping that feels completely useless and such, that I've discovered it's not a Battlefront thing. Instead, what it is it's a Frostbite 3 thing. It's an engine issue, and I hadn't played Battlefield 4 until that beta, and then I purposely went and played Battlefield 4 so I could get a sense of, okay, what's the engine versus what's the game. Are those types of comparisons even fair comparisons to compare something like Battlefront on its engine versus something like Destiny on its, or Call of Duty on its? Should this be compared only to something like a Battlefield?
I think it's fair to compare it across the board if you're going to be paying full price for it. I mean, because they're all $60, right? So I mean, they should all have functional, good engines that are fun to play with. Is kind of my thinking on that.
Are you a Battlefield player? Have you tried out Battlefield 4 or a Hardline, the other two big Frostbite 3s?
The last Battlefield I played was 3. The last Battlefield I played that I liked was Battlefield 2: Bad Company. They're really hit or miss games for me, and Battlefield 3 was... My experience with that was I played one night, and I played a 45-minute game that, I still ended in a draw because I had to go to bed, or, my buddy was leaving, and I'm just like, I don't even want to play this anymore. It was a never-ending game. The engine was terrible. We kind of came into the game late, so we didn't know all the camping spots, all the sniping spots.
Right.
So it's just running across the board, getting murdered for 45 minutes in a never-ending game that kept swaying back and forth. I much preferred the Call of Duties prior to Ghosts, which was the last one that I played online, and it was kind of terrible, so I kind of dropped it at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never really... Whoa! And I've said this before. Hey, rank 14. I've said previously that it's a victory. I was like, why can't I move? Oh, victory. In previous generations for me, and you're just stomping the crap out of me, by the way. In previous... you want to jump to a different mode or stick with this one?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Jump to whatever you want. I'm happy with anything.
Cool. In previous console generations, what I found was that I started to become motion sick once I played a first-person shooter game for very long on, say, the PS3 and earlier. I didn't have that issue as much back with the Nintendo 64 and GoldenEye, but pretty much everything since then. And then came this generation. And I don't know if it's a frame rate or what, but for some reason playing something like a Destiny, I was concerned that I would get motion sick, and I hadn't, or Killzone Shadowfall. And it struck me that, you know, for me, that was what pushed me towards third-person shooters instead of first. Like, I'm one of the few people out there who loves Dark Sector. I will never trade the Dark Sector game. I love the fact that it's got Lex from Smallville playing the main character, and I love all the crazy abilities, even if people say the game sucks. I absolutely love it. I'm going to jump to Turning Point.
I've never actually played that one.
Oh, I love the game, but people are just kind of like, what? I'm sure we can come back to it. But basically, for me, first-person shooters were kind of anathema for a long time. So I played some Call of Duties. In fact, I think my wife has probably played more Call of Duty than I have. I played Modern Warfare. I got Black Ops, whichever Black Ops it was released on the Wii U, and played like half of it and just kind of gave up on it. But for me, the first-person shooters, even the ones that were the big multiplayer venues, were always, to me, about the campaign. It was always about the story. Like, I wanted to see the crazy over-the-top set pieces play by myself, get all the cool stuff in the background, and I never really played a lot of online multiplayer until Destiny. I played the old War for Cybertron, the two High Moon Studios Transformers games. Those drew me into the PvP because I love the transforming options and such. And then, besides that, pretty much nothing. And then Destiny. So it's interesting to hear you say that, having played a lot of first-person shooter games, that you have that perspective on it. Because to me, that background just doesn't exist for me. I look at the game and I try to get it within sort of the narrow parameters of what I've actually played in recent generation shooters.
Yeah, and I actually, like you mentioned that, you know, the first-person shooter experience to you was a lot about the campaign, and I actually, there was a lot of that for me too. Like, that was always something that was really exciting to me with the Call of Duties. Like you said, the big crazy set pieces, like, you know, oh, now I'm snowmobiling down a mountain and shooting rockets at dudes who are trying to chase me, and, you know, it's just crazy stuff, but it was a lot of fun, and I liked that more than I ever liked the multiplayer, and I played multiplayer because a lot of my friends played it, so...
we got us both.
That's how I kind of got into it with I don't even remember which Call of Duty it was. It might have been the first Black Ops. Is the first one that I really played heavily, and I played on the 360 more so than anything. Cool. Proximity grenade. Hate those things.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, proximity grenade? What the hell am I supposed to do with this? At least I'm not alone. And I fought very hard to get up to level 13 so I could get my freaking jetpack, and then I constantly forget to set that as my hand, and I'm running around without my jetpack. So,
I do that regular too, yeah.
Couple comments up in the chat. And hello, Sadiki. Didn't mention hello yet. But Lego Lover mentions, he says he'd like to see the Star Killer ship from the Force Unleashed, right? The Rogue Shadow added to the game. And I've got to agree, because to me, and I may be alone in this, the Force Unleashed 1 is still my single favorite Star Wars game of all time, which probably puts me in a little bolt hole with like 5 other people in the world. But I loved that game.
That game was so cool. I absolutely loved that game too. You could probably pick it apart as far as like gameplay, and it wasn't perfect, but I had so much fun with it. It didn't really matter to me, and the story was really cool. Like, that's one of the. I kind of agree with you. It might be the best, at least, you know, story-wise, Star Wars game that I've played.
And it's one of those things where, you know, you play that and you say you liked it, and then somebody asks if you liked the second one. You're like, yeah, I liked it, and they walk away from the conversation speaking like Starkiller, you know, I let you live. How dare you like those games? Yeah, but of course, to me, I've become, thanks to his voice work, actually, I've become a big Sam Witwer fan. And I still haven't seen any of Being Human yet, but just his work as the Sun, his work as Darth Maul, both in the Clone Wars, those performances and Starkiller, to me, make him almost as much a staple of Star Wars to some extent as, you know, Ashley Eckstein, or Eckstein, I think it's how you're supposed to say it, and some of the other voice actors.
Yeah, he's really solid. I enjoyed him a lot in that role.
All right, let's see if I can pull off my orbital strike on anybody who deserves it. crap.
Now that I've finally unlocked the DL44, of course, it doesn't work as well for me as it does for everybody else.
So what level are you?
20, or actually 32 or 33
Good
now.
Lord, sir. See, I keep doing the streams, but what's happening is that most of the times that I'm playing are the streams, as opposed to playing outside the streams to level up. So I'm running around little paltry level 14. But you're right. I think that DL44, and I've said this, I think, on the previous live stream, the fact that it is the one that you get with the deluxe edition automatically unlocked is a huge advantage to those who pay the extra $10, almost to a pay-to-win level.
Oh, it is broken beyond belief, and I even now that I have it, I'm like, I can't understand how this hasn't been nerfed yet.
Yeah, but I mean, it does have the lack of oh crap! Well, see, now I need my ion torpedo. There's an ATST on that point. I will say the fact that it doesn't fire very quickly does make up for it some. Lego Lover has said, I love The Force Unleashed. I played it on the Wii. Haven't played the sequel. The sequel's pretty good. I actually think the sequel may be better on the Wii because I love the Wii controls. And nothing beats graphically getting to experience that story on PS3 or Xbox 360. So if you can, make sure you get a chance to play it on there. Or hopefully they'll do some kind of emulation so you can play it as a classic or something on PS4 or Xbox One. But the Wii controls for the Force Unleashed games were fantastic. It's one of the few times that I felt like the motion controls on the Wii actually did their job of being truly immersive.
Well, now you're kind of talking me into wanting to pick it up for the Wii. I actually played it on the 360, so I never.
It doesn't look as good. It looks a lot worse. At least, especially the first one. The second one looks better than the first, but. Yeah, the controls are pretty cool. There's also abilities on the second one that you can only do on that. Like you activate a power and you highlight enemies, and once you get this power up, charged up, and he basically does a crazy attack that takes out all those enemies very quickly, automatically. And it's this crazy cinematic look. Oh, enemy, missile incoming. Cool. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of those things that makes me wish that I could live stream off of the Wii U. Because you could pull that up as I still have it. And there's the backwards compatibility. Of course, I would love to be able to just stream off of my Xbox 360 or PS3 because I've actually got Force Unleashed 1 and 2 on both. They had a sale where I could get them for like $2 each on 360. So I was like, nice. I can do that. I platinumed them. I'll go through and do it again. And then, of course, I didn't touch them because I got so many other things I'm trying to play. I love the realism when you got a bad connection of how your feet get stuck in the sand. That's so Oh. No, that's not on purpose.
Right, how you hang up on all the little debris on the ground.
Whoa! Oh, thermal imploder. Yep, I got one of those too. I should really start actually playing to the goal of the mission, as opposed to just running around like an idiot trying to kill people. That's what happens. I'm not, and my gameplay sucks because I'm paying more attention to what I'm saying. And since most of the time when I'm doing that, I'm streaming, all of my streams are basically me playing like an idiot.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is I've never actually live streamed anything before, and I'm noticing that, I'm completely focusing more so on what I'm trying to say here rather than actually playing the game, so I'm just kind of running around shooting at random things. I'm like, oh, right, objectives.
Yep, there are objectives on this game. I guess that's when, what's it called? Blast is the best mode for live streaming, just because Blast, you just kill things.
Right, just shoot.
Just kill and don't do anything else. Alright, here we go. Oh! There we go. There's one. Contested. I still don't know what the numbers mean. Is that the number of your team's... Yeah, I guess it must be the number of your team's characters who are at the point. Dudes. And that speeds up the capture, I would assume?
It does, yes.
I would hope. Hell if I know. It's not like I've been playing this very... I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And Lego Lover says he's was about to buy some... a copy of The Force Unleashed at GameStop and instead picked up the Daniel Craig James Bond collection, to which my response would be, why not Pierce Brosnan, man? But that's just me. I grew up with I didn't grow up with. Brosnan is my Bond. Craig is a horrible Bond to me. It's kind of like Doctor Who. Everybody's got their own, and they're like, I hate you! if you don't like theirs.
Oh man, that's crazy. Craig is so good.
I love the opening of Casino Royale. Yeah, Casino Royale. I love the chase, the foot chase, the parkour is fantastic, and I literally have trouble getting through any of the other Daniel Craig Bond films without falling asleep every single time. And I haven't seen Spectre yet, so I'm hoping that's better. But I actually bought Target had a crazy deal going on where you could basically, for the price of getting one of the Blu-ray sets, you could get the Brosnan one and one other, and I wound up getting Brosnan and Craig. So I've got them. I just haven't watched them on there. I'm going to jump us to a different mode. I'm still in the process of working through my Star Wars marathon. Right? I'm in the middle of Rebels. In fact, I watched one of the worst episodes of season 1 right before we started doing the live stream. I just watched the fucking Puffer Pig.
Puffer Pig?
I just watched. I just watched.
I know you were going to say that.
Yep, just jump to blast. See if we do any better when we're not paying attention. I played. I just finished watching Idiot's Array prior to turning this on. And, it's just as bad the second time around. But at least now we know that Lando shall return. That's what they need. They need those, like, James Bond or Thor or whatever little tags at the end of the credits. All you need is to say, Lando Calrissian will return. This wasn't just a freaking gimmick. And we're good. And we're great. And Lego Lover can't say that I can agree that it's the favorite Bond film for me. It's definitely not my favorite Bond film. But Casino Royale actually is the only James Bond book I've ever read. My dad had a classic collection of James Bond novels.
That's awesome.
That he passed along.
Yeah, I actually really like
cool.
that book too.
Not passed along as in passed away. Passed along as in he was just like, hey, you might like these.
Yeah, bad news for you if you're falling asleep during the other Craig movies with Spectre. You're not. I almost fell asleep during Spectre, and I like Craig a lot. So.
Oh, well, great, wonderful. There we go. Default. Okay, why is it telling me? I don't think it's. What the frack? All right, that's weird. Whatever. Let's see if it gives me the right gear. Okay, it did. I need to just name my loadouts because I'm just getting myself confused. Which one is it?
Name them?
Yeah, you can name them. You can go on to when you actually go to the different cards, you can name them. I didn't know that. And you can choose which one's your default and which one's not. Hello, Pumpkin Guy Creations. Back for more, I see. See, I'm finally done enough of these that I'm actually starting to recognize people that have been with the stream before. I'm getting better because you can't do that with a podcast. You don't ever know who's listening until they write in, right?
So I heard you say more of the live streams or the podcasts.
Whoa. Okay, I just tried to hit L1 and R1 at the same time, and instead managed to just launch my rocket pack. That didn't work.
Whoops.
I'll be honest. I think I'm able to speak more intelligently without looking as bad and dying constantly during a podcast rather than the live stream. But live stream has the added advantage that I don't have to edit a freaking thing.
Right.
You're like, it's kind of the rule of thumb is basically that if I'm trying to, for instance, say I'm trying to edit, like today I finished editing the Stealth Strike episode of Rebels Roundtable, the Star Wars Reports, Rebels Roundtable at StarWarsReport.com, or RebelsRoundtable.com, actually, that I pay for. We recorded that, and the recording itself was about an hour and 10 minutes, give or take. And the final version of it was only probably 55 minutes or so, which is, it's a decent amount of stuff cut, but some of that's, us waiting between recordings or a call dies and we got to get somebody back, something that takes up enough time that you can cut it out in one big chunk. But editing basically an hour-long episode of a podcast takes at least about 3 hours if you're really going to do it the way that I do it, which is I say all the time. So I'm taking out my ums, I'm taking out the longer pauses because Jonathan doesn't but while he's collecting his thoughts, he will pause. So I'm taking out those. I take out maybe about half of Barron's knows, but nobody can get them all. And Mark just talks so fast, it's almost impossible to remove anything from anything that Mark says. So, it's a huge time sink. I don't think people realize how much time is sunk into that sort of thing. And we don't edit as much with Beyond the Films. But I think that's just because that's Mark's preference. I don't have to edit as much with Rebels Roundtable, but it's like I'm falling back into my Chrono Radio days in terms of my habits that I really need to break. It's like, that's an the must be gone. So, this is nothing. I would actually say probably well, not the most fun, but one of the things I actually tend to find as a happy medium is the videos like from the Star Wars home video library, because I get a chance to showcase something I like. It's something that most people aren't, whoa, crap, enemy locked, aren't necessarily conversant in, so it's kind of cool that I get a chance to talk about something new.
Right.
And I get to educate at the same time, which is, my career calling. But the editing for that tends to be a little bit faster because I'm not taking out and whatnot because it would look weird. It's taking out more of the flubs and dead time. So the editing feels like I can edit, like if you take the time that it takes to edit for a podcast take the original times 3, I would say take the original just times 2 maybe for the video, which would seem kind of counterintuitive, but it just the way that it turns out, because I don't want it to look all jerky in the video. I can sound jerky, but I can't. Can't look jerky.
Right. Yeah, I've sat down and recorded a podcast with a few friends before, and nothing has ever really come of it. I keep intending to, but you're right. Like that time sync. There's absolutely respect you guys who do that, because it really is like you sit down to edit and you're like, wow. And especially as you're coming into it kind of new, and I majored in film, radio, and TV in college, so like I understand how to edit and what to cut and everything like that, but it still is time consuming, and before you actually get down what you want to pull, what you want to keep and stuff like that, it's really it takes time. So
yep,
mad respect.
I think I just dropped a shield, and the second I walked out, I dropped the shield because I didn't want it. I was going to get a different power up, and as I walked through the shield, having not stopped when I dropped it, I got shot immediately on the other side. That was pretty slick. Very, very slick. Yeah, it can be quite the time sink. But I will say, we were on the topic of the different James Bonds here for a moment. One of the things that I learned the hard way was when I was first looking for a James Bond DVD collection. I got a collection that it turns out it was a foreign release. I think it was a foreign release that was actually a legit one. But it spent a long time to figure out, was this legit? Is this a bootleg? And that sort of thing. That I tend to like doing from the Star Wars home video library, and focus a lot on here's what the real one looks like. And I kind of want to do a book on it at some point when I actually have the time. But it sort of feels like you almost need that kind of guide, and there's not really much of it. It's almost like whenever I first did the Star Wars Timeline Gold, it was it was sort of there isn't anything quite like this yet. Somebody needs to do it. Well, I didn't mean to do that with the video stuff, but it turns out to be kind of like that, where every once in a while somebody will say thank you. It kept me from buying a bootleg, and I'm like, all right, sweet. Of course, now you paid out the wazoo for the legit copy, but that's all right.
Right.
You just bought the same thing for the 50th release, but all right. Ooh, right as I died, I was able to put out a infantry turret there. Woo!
Nice. I had a great start to this game, but now I'm starting to suck it up here a little bit.
Keep it up. We're halfway there. Hey, we might actually win a match. What? And not by accident. There we go.
Oh man, they're in the trees. They're up in the Ewok village.
Oh crap! I need to stand under the Ewok village for a little bit and let them bonk me on the head, because there's a trophy for that.
Yep, yeah, I actually got that just by accident. The first day I got the game, I'm like, what? What did I just get a trophy for? And then I read it. I'm like, wow, that is great.
Yeah, I don't think I stayed under it long enough. Again, checking out the stuff here. Oh, about to get killed. Just double checking, making sure I don't have any student needs. That is the awesome part. This time of day is the one time of day when I can kind of sit back, and most of the time students are eating dinner. And people are like, what is he looking at? This, folks, is my classroom. You can see it on the iPad there. That is my classroom. So, all right, I'm heading towards your yellow silhouette. Where's it going? I'll say I actually really like the survival modes on here. It's unfortunate, though, that the survival modes don't give you any XP towards your progression, you know?
Actual, yeah.
I mean, credits, yeah, but... Oh, there's a Twi'lek. Somebody got to level 50. Kudos to you. Oh, and I stopped to give a salute to that person and get shot and get down to 5 health and run like a little girl.
Yeah, anytime I see a Shadow Trooper or any of the alien races, I'm like, yep, this guy has got way more time than I do.
Mad props. Yeah, Pumpkin Guy says it's a small classroom. That is it's a very small classroom, sort of. The downside being that, well, I guess not downside, but I started the semester with 270 students, which is about 100 more than a traditional teacher will tend to have. And now I'm down to like 170 because a lot of them have finished their class early. And some of them got moved to a different teacher when we brought some more people in locally. But it's a small classroom until you go visit the school to visit the students and check in and see how they're doing, because our county, Fulton County in Georgia, is enormous, except it's enormous in its length. It's very narrow. So it could take me 2 hours to commute to a school to see students during traffic. So it just depends. Thankfully, that's not something I'm doing constantly. I'm doing it when it's necessary. But yeah, it's a small classroom until you realize that walking across the room isn't walking across the room anymore. It's driving, a 2-hour one-direction trip. A little bit unfortunate. Here we go. Yeah. I swear there was something earlier that I say, we could come back to. And hell if I remember what it was, you.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Orbital strike! Orbital strike!
Ah, yes. Walk directly into it.
Nice.
Number of times that happens is...
You went out with a bang.
Yeah.
Speaking of moments that are like a bang, if you are trying to stay spoiler-free for The Force Awakens, do not look at the card for the Rey, I think it's Resistance outfit or something, Wave 3 The Force Awakens toy that images have finally hit the internet of. Because you will be spoiled fairly quickly. There is something about that card that reveals something.
Somebody said the new Finn has also got some, I think the Black Series Finn.
What the heck?
Had some, I'm not...
Here I am, I'm reading the e-books and everything. I don't know who it is people are. I don't know who these characters are. I keep saying that I'm going to turn my Stormtrooper into a character that looks like Finn, so I have a black character and a white character, and I can tell them apart, but I still haven't got around to that yet. I should. Still stomp me. 12 and 10, 6 and 12. Ouch. This means that you were paying more attention because I was blabbing more.
It's DL44 for you right there.
I'm running around with the DL44. I'm still sucking. I'm still shooting. It's that that's the thing. That's the thing. You've got Han's original version DL44 shooting first. I've got his special edition DL44, which basically means that I'm constantly getting shot before I can shoot.
There you go. You can't wait for the other guy to shoot. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's see. Try to switch a mode.
All right.
Interesting. Pumpkin Guy says he's not going for those toys, or he or she, I guess. I swear I've seen Snoke, though. I'm wondering what that means. Is there a Snoke figure that now the card is out there and people are like, I recognize that character, or is this... I'm confused. Pumpkin Guy, what do you mean?
Something that he was watching. He was watching something today that they showed the concept art for Snoke.
Really?
I don't remember what podcast it was, yeah. But he said that they had found a picture of him and showed it. I avoided it because I don't really want to see anything at this point. I'm kind of avoiding everything right now, so.
Huh. Interesting. So I guess the motto, if they find that before they ask permission, they're just going to show that concept art, is snoke 'em if you got 'em.
Right on.
Hey man, snoke 'em if you got 'em. All right, Junlin Waste. I actually really like this Walker Assault map. I was so concerned. Was it just me, or when I was playing the beta, for some reason, it never occurred to me that we would have different planets for Walker Assault. I was assuming just Hoth, and that was why the imbalance bothered me so much. I had no idea we were going to be doing Walker Assault on other maps. Did you?
No, I did not. I actually, like you said, it's a pleasant surprise as well. And actually, like, Hoth doesn't even seem that bad now, especially if you're like, compared to Endor. I mean, if you're the Rebels, you always win that one. I mean, there's no way to lose that. Nice.
Yeah, I will say the other thing that and this is something we again, for those who just came in late to the stream, this guy, it says it's a Mexican magazine, Collider Studios is where the Snoke thing came from. The gentleman I'm speaking with right now, Jeff Kenda, is the gentleman who coined that quote that I've used previously. It's the best-looking, laziest game in years, which we talked about that early on, but that was based on the discussions back from the beta. So we've talked a bit about the impressions of beta versus this, and one of the things that struck me, I'm walking into an orbital strike like an idiot. I'm like, what's all that stuff from this guy? Wah, wah. Thank you, Green Lantern. He has subscribed. One of the things that... Oh, I spawned in a cave. Sweet. My brain is like... Boop, 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 boop. But no, the thing that one of the things we talked about quite a bit back then was the fact that in the beta, Walker Assault felt very unbalanced. And I'm not sure they've really done much with the balance per se, but... To me, one of the biggest, most important things that they could have done, they did, which is there's a tutorial now that explains the nature of using the speeder, right, in order to take down a walker. So one of the training missions is actually the speeder. And there's now an on-screen little prompt that says, hey, shoot the undercarriage of the AT-AT when you get it. And I think those two things by themselves helped deal with the balance issue. I'm not sure they needed to do anything else once those kind of things were made clear.
That's entirely possible. And I think also that like a lot of people didn't quite understand how the mode was played either. Like, you didn't see anybody really shooting at the walker when it said shoot at the walker.
Well, they were shooting. They were just taking pot shots that were completely ineffective. Like, shoot the walker. I'm shooting it in the head.
Right, they're shooting the regular blaster shots at it, rather than an ion shot.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just a lot of ignorance going on more so than anything in that, and like you said, adding in modes that, kind of explain how things work, and some tutorials really helped people with that too. So.
It's like the very first time or probably the second time ever that I've played as Boba Fett. So I'm running around like, wee, I'm Boba Fett! As you wish. And all that kind of stuff. Although, I'm still partial to the original non-Tamura Morrison, As You Wish, although it's cool to hear the voice of the clones coming out of Fett, obviously. Because, he is one. There we go. Come on. Come on. But I keep doing that. I keep pressing L2 to zoom in to shoot, except on Fett, that's the rocket pack.
Yep,
so I keep trying to zoom in and...
I have with him. I think my favorite hero is probably Palpatine. Like, that dude is just a ton of fun to play with. Like, just... Yeah.
Really? Because, see, I was just playing with, I think it was Mark, and he was saying how Palpatine is the one he dislikes the most.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I like Palpatine's little spinning thing, because it's just goofy.
Yeah. It is super goofy.
He's
like everything about him is kind of goofy as he wanders around the field like a T-Rex. Like he's just. He's M. Bison. He's M. Bison from Street Fighter, right? Right on.
He does a little spinning, the psycho. What do they call it? The psycho tornado or whatever. There we go. Get myself a TIE fighter. Launch myself into the sky. This was the map where I actually first got a feel for the AT-ST, which was nice.
Oh, yes, yep. I just got strafed by an A-Wing as I was trying to get into my AT-ST.
Oh.
I picked up the pickup and got strafed as I, kneeled down.
Nice. I actually am finding that I'm not... The stuttering is not as bad now as when I was on the wireless connection, so maybe I'll stick with the wired thing. I made the mistake of apparently when I ordered a very, very long cable, it didn't have the right plug on the one end, so I was trying to plug it into my PS4 and nothing was happening. So I'm on a very small one. You guys should see the line that's stretching. Basically, if I tap it, it will disconnect. It's pulled very, very taut. But that's okay. Just means that, I have to be wary of, cats. Oh, did I get him with the thermal imploder? Yes, I did. I died. I threw it, and I'm watching the poor sap sitting there, like, completely unaware.
That's always nice to get him with a thermal imploder, because I've been gotten by so many of those. It's just
the thermal imploder is like Anakin
revenge.
walking in on the younglings, and they have no clue what's about to happen to him. What do we do?
You die.
You know.
Yeah.
As I try to walk under the sand. There we go.
God, I'm doing exactly the same thing you just mentioned earlier. I'm forgetting to take my jetpack in this mode, which is hugely helpful.
See, I've got the jetpack, but I was getting myself twisted around because I've got my jetpack, but I was thinking of actually switching out of the jetpack to get my ion torpedo. I'm like, I'm the Empire! Durr! Yeah, I tend to run, no matter what I'm running, if it's not designed to take down the vehicles, I'm running around with the impact grenade, the one that's basically explode on contact, because it's fun to throw it in people's faces. But that's something I think I picked up from Destiny.
Oh yeah,
very much so. Like the hunter, throw the grenade, stick it to their body, and run away. They're done, kind of thing. Yeah.
So have you played Halo at all, or have you?
I actually the reason I own an Xbox One is because of Halo: The Master Chief Collection. Because I played 1 and 2 way back in the day and played none of the others, but I had Reach from it was like a promotion where it was like, sign up for Xbox Live for X amount of time and you get free games, and one of them was Reach, but I hadn't played it. And I was kind of like, well, should I play the other ones? So I wound up getting the Xbox One, and I've played chronologically through the entire series now, except for Halo Wars, whatever the second Spartan top-down shooter is, I guess Spartan Strike, and 5. And I've got I have a distinct suspicion that my wife is eyeing 5 as a Christmas thing for me, because she's like, what games haven't you played? I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know. Because I tended to pre-order a lot of stuff and do the pre-download thing on the PS4 and didn't even think about Xbox One games. And there's Luke Skywalker. I walk into this dark cavern and Luke Skywalker's there with his lit-up lightsaber.
Yep. I was right behind you on that one. I saw that happen, yeah.
Did.
Yeah, he's capping that because he was actually in there the last time I went in there too, so he's not moving from there.
Where is that bastard? Well, that's the glow stick thing, right? That's like you're at the circus or something and somebody's did a little shake because of that bright green. Let's see, is he in here again? Are you still here? Eat a grenade! Aw, man. I tried to make him eat a grenade, but I guess I didn't get my arm all the way back before I died. Whoop.
Oh, yeah, he's in there. There's that glow stick. I was meleeed by Hung Way Low.
Hung Way Low?
I'm not sure if that's his real name or not.
I don't think that's an authentic Asian name.
Not sure, but
if it is, that is an exceptionally fortuitous name.
Right?
Are you kidding? Missile incoming, and I jumped and I ran around a corner and the thing was still following me. Good lord.
Oh man, the reload, it's not really even a reload, but the cooldown thing on this is so, I have such a hard time timing that right.
I've gotten the hang of it to a degree. There we go. Hello, Justin. And Pumpkin Guy says Luke was in a cave like that in a deleted scene in Return of the Jedi. Very strange coincidence? I think not. So that's it. He's in there rebuilding it, and we happen to come in at just the wrong time for him to kill us.
Whoops.
There we go. And I keep coming to this same intersection where I keep getting killed. Maybe I should try a different intersection, I'm thinking. But that's okay.
Yeah, these objective-based things, while trying to talk, are not the easiest.
See, folks, I'm not the only one who sucks when I'm live streaming. There we go. Wow, there's a lot of stuff blasting. Oh, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him!
Oh, yeah, there we go. Line him up. Line him up.
Whoa, whoa, being killed up from the ridge. All right. Well, I did get off throwing a grenade. I just didn't get close to the guy that was shooting at me. But at least I threw it. Dang it.
Oh man, there's a lot of grenades coming in here now. Still have this offline one here. Oh no, Luke Skywalker's out there again.
Oh man.
Sweet revenge on Hung Wei Lo.
There you go. There you go. So now it's like, hung not at all. Oh, good lord. Oh, come on, that didn't kill him.
Nemoidian, I'm not sure.
Let's see. Larry3, hello Larry, asks, have you unlocked the T-21B blaster? And I gotta be honest, I haven't really been paying attention to the blaster types. I'll have to see the next time I die and respawn. Since I bought the deluxe edition, I've played almost exclusively with the DL-44, which goes to show how overpowered that blaster actually is. How about you, Jeff?
I have tried that one, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. I know I've tried every blaster in the game, but yeah, like, you know, right now, like the random number thing, I think that's one of the heavy ones, isn't it?
I don't know. I will look, because I just got myself killed by the same guy again. The T... Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the T-21, the heavy blaster I have, I'm assuming maybe the B is an upgrade to it. Yeah, that's actually one that I purposely went and got thinking that it would be better than the DL-44 because of the range, and wound up not using it. But I can switch to it now. But it's not the B, it's just a regular T-21. Let's see.
I'll switch to that too then. Oh yeah, the T-21B is it's right before the DL-44.
Oh, okay.
I did mess with that one a little bit. It's not bad. You got some good range on it. But the rate of fire can get you really killed really quickly in close range is kind of my...
Gotcha. So that should fall under the category of there's no way on Earth I could have done it because I'm still just a lowly level 14.
That is correct. I think it's level 2. I'll take a look. I don't know if it actually lists it now that I'm dead again.
Oh, okay. Killed by myself. I did a jump. I jumped off the top of the hangar thinking that I was going, as I got close to the ground, to activate my jetpack, only to realize almost basically like a split second before I hit the ground, oh, it's still recharging. It's still cooling down. And splat. The smuggler Han Solo.
Actually, for a while in this game, I thought that there was no such thing as fall damage, because every time I fell on Endor, you don't really take any damage, because, you know, I don't know if they were being kind on that level or what. And then I came to this one, and I jumped down from, like, the ledge of the hangar to the floor, and I died, and I'm like, oh, I guess there is fall damage.
All right, so Larry, now Jeff has unlocked it, because Jeff is way up there in level. I'm just kind of the lowly 14, because I haven't been playing outside the live stream very much. To answer Pumpkin Guy's question, the website, it is for the podcast for Star Wars Beyond the Films, which is a Legends and Story Group canon, basically not the films podcast. It's StarWarsReport.com. The Star Wars Report's Rebels Roundtable is also on StarWarsReport.com. That's one where a team of us get together and discuss each episode of Rebels after it airs, and eventually release them. And let's see, and then my timeline, the Star Wars Timeline Gold, the single most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere, literally, because the Holocron is a database, so literally. That is over at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline, and StarWarsFanWorks.com is where some of my older podcasts and audio dramas and stuff that I've done are all kind of housed, because there's not really anywhere else to stick them at the moment.
Now, how long have you actually been doing the timeline, by the way?
As of this year, actually about 2 months ago, on October 17th, I turned 36. It turned 18. So 18 years or half my life. Which is kind of scary.
Actually, before I ever listened to podcasts or anything, I remembered using a resource for my role-playing games. I used to run a Star Wars role-playing game, West End, for my friends, and I'm entirely sure it was the Timeline Gold at the time that I was using for, like, you know,
Nice.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you know, I started listening to your guys' podcast probably 5 years ago or something like that, but it's kind of brought me back to that now where I'm like, you know, I swear there was a timeline that I used back in the late 90s to help me with my, you know, setting my games and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, back then it was probably either mine or it was Chris McElroy and Michael Potts doing Time Tales. I mean, we were really kind of the two that were trying to do story-based stuff and summaries as opposed to like a guide like Michael Beidler's Literature Compendium and stuff. Lego Lover. Oh, when is the next? See, Justin is asking when is the next live stream, which will be number 6. Honestly, I don't. Oh, I barely missed the jump. I tried to use the rocket pack to jump over the entire opening in the whatchamacallit in the hangar, and I just barely missed and fell. Hang on one sec. I took off the headset so that I could cough, and a rebel literally just walked right by me without shooting me. He just walked by like he didn't see me. Awesome.
Nice.
That's I almost hear like no, next live stream. Let's see, what is today? Today is Tuesday. I may. If I do one on Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to be talking sometime fairly early in the day. Because I have a meeting both afternoons for one of the things that I oversee. I guess let's do one more match if we can find just kind of a quick match, and then that'll wrap us up.
Sounds good.
And then on Friday, I should actually have more time. So if it's not in the next couple days in the morning, it'll probably be on Friday. If you follow Star Wars Beyond the Films on Facebook or the Star Wars Timeline Gold on Facebook, either of those two, then every single time that I'm about to stream, I'll say I'm about to stream, and I'll usually give it like an hour or so's notice, and I'll say I'm going to start between like 6:30 and 7 or whatever, like tonight. It just kind of depends. But yeah, probably then. Let's see. Do I want MJJ Deadpool asks if we want Star Wars Unaltered on Blu-ray. Absolutely. Now, that doesn't mean I necessarily
Without
hate...
question.
Yeah, it's not that I necessarily hate what exists now. We can end where we began. The circle is now complete. We jump back to fighter squadrons.
All right.
It's not that I hate them. In fact, I've actually grown to like, and this is going to be anathema too, I've actually grown to like no, and dumping him, because having seen so much of Hayden Christensen as Anakin now, and the no at the end of Revenge of the Sith, having that be sort of counterpointed as a no at the end of Return of the Jedi, and sort of getting a vocalization of his thoughts and the moment that he's changing his mind and whatnot, I thought that was pretty cool. Actually, as a kid, there was a little bit of time where I didn't quite get why Vader turned on the Emperor and dumped him, you know? So to have that, I think for especially a younger audience, the no, coupled with what Luke is saying as he's being fried and lightning's going across his teeth, I think that makes a difference. Oh, and by the way, folks, I think I mentioned this on the live stream, thanks to Beware the Power of the Dark Side, the recent young adult, or even younger, adaptation of Return of the Jedi, we now know that when you're being blasted with Force lightning from the dark side, not only is it just Force lightning zapping you, you're like experiencing traumatic memories and shit because of what it's doing to your mind, which is awesome. Although, I will say on the newer... okay, I guess we'll actually do a real match in a second, because this one's got 4... Yeah. Did we lose? Oh, okay. That's weird. That was just a countdown to...
Oh, it's the... okay. That's
the transport or something.
Transport
okay.
leaving.
I was like, what the hell? Still got killed very quickly. But, I don't know. The thing with the Blu-rays now, I mean, the Blu-rays are gorgeous, but there's just something about the little changes that make no sense. Like, little changes that make sense? Sure. Even, Greedo shoots first, if you listen to what Lucas says, might sort of make sense, although it should have been executed much better. But like the rocks in front of R2-D2, the fact that Jabba's palace now has a reverse TARDIS from Doctor Who thing going on, where it looks much bigger from the outside than from the inside. Yeah. Those are huge, what the fuck kind of moments, like me just getting killed there. So I'm just kind of like, what's the point, And Justin, you said this Friday or next. It'll actually probably this Friday, though I don't know if it can be very long. It really depends on what my students are doing at the time because it's their last regular day of courses. But I'm sure that while they're again, the online classroom, while they're mostly in lunch and whatnot, or like right now where most of them have just gotten home and they're not working on the evening stuff at all yet, I could probably find a way to fit it in there. So probably that Friday. I will probably not be doing a live stream on the 18th, which, of course, is the day that The Force Awakens comes out, because my wife and I will be going to see it. She is off work. We'll be going to hunt down The Force Awakens Disney Infinity 3.0 characters, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those too. That game is way more fun than it has any right to be.
I know, isn't it, though? And yet
really
not
is.
canon, especially once you look at the beginning of the A New Hope one, where they're all running around together. Let me see. Tell you what, those matches go pretty quickly. Let's jump that one more time.
They are pretty quick, yeah.
I'm really pushing that when does the wife get home thing, because I try to do this when she's at work, so I'm not driving her nuts, or she's not sitting in the other room like, come on, or something like that. I mean, she's really indulgent about all the recording and everything, though.
Yeah,
I think it's because I talk really loud.
I have to close my door. Yeah.
I just talk really loud when I can't hear.
I'm playing this.
These headphones just like block my hearing of anything else. They're very nice in that sense. So if I'm playing, fighters. Oh, cool! Fighter Squadron over Jakku. Oh, not quit. Let's do it. It blocks it out, but because I can't hear myself speaking, I tend to speak louder, which is fine for the microphone and the broadcasting, but not if she's sitting over there just being driven nuts by the loudness. Same thing to an extent when I'm podcasting. So
yeah,
I don't know that I've ever played over Jakku.
The changes. Cool. This is actually pretty cool. Like, take a look at some of the stuff going on in the sky. Like, there you'll see actually the Super Star Destroyer falling out of the sky here too. So
cool!
It's pretty neat.
Cool. I remember I was kind of shocked by how many ships are crashed, just because I kept thinking of the one from Lost Stars, the Inflictor. That's that iconic crashed one that we see in the trailer. But now I wonder, is it one of these many other ones? Because there's a lot of crashed ships.
Right, because there's so many.
Yeah. Like, damn, son. I actually think this may be the first time I've played Fighter Squadrons actually over Jakku. I may be wrong, but wow, that is oh, okay, I played it one time, I think, over it. That is absolutely gorgeous looking. MJJ Deadpool asks, what's the least favorite change from the Blu-rays? Personally, I got to go with the stupid rocks or the stupid door to Jabba's palace, where... No, actually, at least the door to Jabba's palace has two sides. It may be different sizes inside and outside, but the rocks disappear.
The rocks make no sense.
Whenever you see it from R2's point of view, and then when you look at R2, they're there. No sense. And what is Lucas's excuse for that? I mean, I know that with Jabba, for instance, or with some of the other special edition changes, it was always my intention to. Oh, it was always your intention for the fucking rocks to be there? Really? You didn't have the technology back in '77 to put rocks in front of the droid? Oh, that drives me insane.
For me, it would be the no that I know you had just mentioned that you don't mind or have come to be okay with.
I've come to accept. I've come to accept it.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I've come to accept it.
It's kind of like the Scream in the special edition, the initial special edition release at the end of Empire, where Luke, falls into the throws himself into the chasm at Cloud City, and yeah, it's got that terrible scream that they added in. It just sounds so bad.
Well,
and moreover, it just kind of ruins the scene to me, where he's
really not stoically falling, yeah.
Right, yeah, and that's kind of what the no is to me, is
I'm stuttering.
Along those same lines.
Oh, for the love of God, stop stuttering! For fuck's sake, I can't really pilot when I'm. That's all right. There we go. No, for me, it's if it were to go back to something like that from like the original special editions, I'm trying to think of the insanity, because there's the no. Oh shoot! Now my brain is just trying to not get killed. Had my brain just completely empty out. You said the. I keep flying out of combat.
Luke screaming as he fell.
That's it. It's the other scream. It's the in the original, and I think it's still like this even on the Blu-ray. There's the moment in Empire where Luke grabs the pipe or whatever, the tube, and puts the gas into Vader's face to get away and says, "Man!"
Yes.
Right? And then he kicks Vader, and Vader goes falling down the stairs to end that first segment of the fight, and Vader goes, "Ah!" But on Blu-ray and everything since the special editions, it's "Man!" again. That makes no sense. And it's obviously the exact same audio that they just used in a matter of minutes ago. It's,
Right.
Like, tell you what, fix that, and you can leave. We are free! Just fix it.
I don't know why this bothers me, but the "alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival" is just the most awkward line read I think I've ever heard.
Alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival. At least it's not the Vader voice from here, though. I think it's actually James Earl Jones, as opposed to the guy on here who's like, he would have been like, "Alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival. I don't have balls." That's interesting.
The voice work in here is rough.
Excuse me. That's interesting. Obi-Wan's Force Scream in Episode 4 on the Blu-ray. I don't remember an Obi-Wan Force... Oh, the Force Obi-Wan with the how they constantly keep changing his Krayt Dragon call. I was like, Obi-Wan's Force Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do constantly keep changing that. Wow, most damage dealt to the transport by Miss Twerkerella. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a good place to end it right there. That's almost as good as Hung Wei Lo. Maybe Hung Wei Lo and Miss Twerkerella hang out.
Good friends.
Oh, good Lord. They came in like a Oh, that's sad. That's very sad. Hung Wei Lo the Nemoidian. No, see, you can't say that, though, because that's racist now. Can't say Hung Wei Lo the Nemoidian, because the Nemoidians are the ones that had the messed up mouths, and they were trying to compare that to Japanese movies or something that's... I don't know. That's what I want to know. Someday, if there's one behind-the-scenes questions I could ever ask to Lucas and McCallum and company, probably McCallum. I'd probably save the one for Lucas for something else. But to ask a question of Rick McCallum from the prequels, it'd be to look him in the face and say, who thought it was a good idea to build characters around racial stereotypes? And just see what he says.
No kidding.
I don't even know what he would say, but I want to know. Let's have the stingy merchant guy have a big nose and give him an accent that makes people think he's a Jewish stereotype. Let's have Jar Jar have the floppy ears and the odd way of speaking that make people think he's a Caribbean stereotype. And hey, while we're at it, let's have the extreme business people, the Nemoidians, be the ones whose lips don't match like the Japanese movies translated into English. Because that's not racist at all. At what point shouldn't somebody have walked up to Lucas and said, No, George. No.
Well, that's a whole topic I could go on for hours about people saying no to George in the prequels, but I don't think people want
that's true.
That.
That's true. Well, I mean, somebody even said at one point that it was like he didn't have a brake pedal as he was heading for the wall every so often, and I actually used that reference in if you want to see something else, folks, a long time ago, Exploring the Star Wars Cinematic Universe is a recent published book from Sequart, SEQUART, .org if you want the website, that actually features an article by yours truly on the first season of Rebels, which also talks about the lessons they learned from Clone Wars, bringing it into Rebels. And hello, Mr. Assassin, glad to have you aboard, but it looks like we are heading out. I will give the last word... we're wrapping up. I will give the last word to Lego Lover, who says, Twerkerella? Next Disney movie? Oh, scary. And yet, I don't know these days. All right, folks. Well, you see what happens with a lot of the younger Disney folks whenever they grow up. Experimenting with everything when making the episodes. He's experimenting with racism, all right. All right, folks, we're going to head out of here. Again, if you want to check out Star Wars Beyond the Films or the Star Wars Report's Rebels Roundtable, you can check out StarWarsReport.com. My Star Wars Timeline Gold, the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere. You can find it at StarWarsTimeline.com. Or Star Wars Timeline. Nope, that's Eddie Vanderheiden's site. Good guy. Not my site, though. Not anymore. Used to have that name. StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. And thank you all for watching. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
It's a good time.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right, and folks, I'm heading out of here. If you want to drop any comments or questions or anything like that, feel free to stick them in the comments underneath the video once it processes. I'll be sure to check them out.